Jay team has not seen this.
Ready? Go ahead.
Welcome everyone to the Birdcage in Ashland, Nebraska, where tonight the #1 ranked Ashland-Greenwood Blue Jays, with a nearly unblemished 22-1 record, takes on a challenging foe the like that this Blue Jay team has not seen this season. The Lincoln Christian Crusaders, led by a 7-foot senior in Easton Marshbank and 2 dynamic guards, and a team coming off a complete game victory in their semifinal win on Tuesday night. Sub-district final between Ashland-Greenwood and the Lincoln Christian Crusaders. Hello everyone, I'm Tim Washburn, and I am joined by the best broadcasting team around. Running the technicals, as he does for us most games this year, the super sophomore, the track star, Elliot Gosson. And the man on my far right, the man that won a state championship at Beatrice under Jim Weeks, went on to become an All-American at Hastings College as a tight end, Jordan Wallman. And also in the booth here, he's been joining us this week, and it's been a pleasure to have him. Ashland-Greenwood girls coach in his first year, and a 10-time state championship coach as far as going in and coaching in 10 different state championships, Dave Huber. Well, fellas, we have got a fun one. We learned a little bit about this Crusaders team in the opening, but here's what else you need to know about Lincoln Christian. Defensive lockdown guard and 6-foot senior Gage Holland, dynamic freshman guard Cohen Sand, who is as quick a guard as the Blue Jays have seen this year, and size, and more size. 7-footer Marshbanks, who we mentioned earlier, 6-foot 6-inch junior Ethan Hollenbeck, who comes off the bench. The Blue Jays haven't seen this type of team, so how do they respond tonight?
You're never going to see too many 7-footers in Nebraska basketball. I think, I said last night on the broadcast, sometimes we get hung on ideas, but I think he's an idea getting worth hung on, especially Marshbanks on the defensive end. Just stand straight, contest shots. Had a chance to watch him earlier. He got in foul trouble against Kearney Catholic, and that really kind of maybe disrupted them overall. But he had a ton of points, ton of rebounds, ton of blocks last night. So it starts with him, and then good guards. And Cohen Sand is a freshman, just really coming into his own. Holland plays great defense. Barrier was scoring 14 a game earlier in the year, but Cohen Sand, he's their ISO guy, he's their breakdown guy, he's a good freshman.
Coach Huber.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the big guy, and obviously I think it's hard to block shots in transition, so I can see the Blue Jays really getting up and down tonight, trying to get him running, and they're going to use him. If we run that little zone, three-quarter, press, it's going to be tough with him in the middle because he's definitely a pressure release. They can throw it up to him. Hard to trap a guy 7 foot tall.
Indeed it is. And fellas, we started this conversation on Tuesday night. What's it going to be? Lincoln Christian, they played suffocating defense on Tuesday night. It was man-to-man defense against a Lincoln Lutheran team that was absolutely red hot. Shut them down. But tonight, what will the Crusaders do? Is it going to be man-to-man, which could lead to the Blue Jays trying to pull out Marshbanks, the big 7-footer, away from the middle? Or will it be zone against the Blue Jay team shooting 40% from 3? So let's break it down. Jordan, your thoughts?
I think Marshbanks does a great job protecting the inside. The Blue Jays finish from a high clip. Huber, you were praising them the other night about how close they get to the basket and how there's a point-blank layups. He's going to change that. So at the same time, we've described the Blue Jays as they're similar to a live by it, die by it 3 type of team, but their inside finishing picks up for those slow nights, and it's resulted in a great season. So they have the ability to do both. I think they'll take what the defense gives them. Kale's been so great about that all year, and they've had a lot of zone and man reps this year.
Coach, your thoughts?
When you get to this point in the season, I think you got to lean on a couple different ways, a plan A and a plan B, or a combo. I could see them definitely not want to give up the 3 because we shoot the 3 so well. So they're going to guard the perimeter, and I could see them letting him take care of the paint because those are 2 things we do well, is shoot the 3 and get to the hoop. Let him take care of the hoop, and everybody else guard the perimeter.
Now let's flip it. Obviously, Lincoln Christian's got a lot to think about with this Ashland-Greenwood team. We've talked about Lincoln Christian, what they're going to do defensively, but for the Big Blue here in a very short period of time, obviously they're going to play man-to-man. They love to trap out of that. And I would imagine you guys would say we're going to see more of that again this evening.
From the Blue Jays or from Lincoln Christian?
From Ashland-Greenwood.
From Ashland, yeah. Pace is always the name of the game, and if post touches take time, and I think Marshbank finishes extremely well when he's moving towards the basket. So pace could favor Lincoln Christian, but Moses is a guy that's going to do what he does, and he wants to see where that takes him. And what he's been doing all year has been playing with pace, making guards uncomfortable. I think they feel good about the Max Parker plus help side situation. Cohen Sand, though, that's another story. That's another Brooks assignment. He's going to really have to pick it up. And
he's talking about Brooks Kissinger, who tends to get the #1 offensive player. And, of course, Brooks isn't going to guard the 7-footer Easton Marshbank. Right. That means he's going to get Cohen Sands tonight, an incredibly dynamic freshman guard. And it's going to be a fun one, folks. It is absolutely packed here in the Birdcage tonight. Standing room only. Both of these teams have shown up. And you hear the public address announcer, Brad Jacobson, introducing the Blue Jays right now. And, folks, we are going to pause here as Brad Jacobson reads, of course, the sportsmanship creed. And that's going to be challenged tonight in a sub-district final by both of these squads. But, folks, let's sit back, relax, and now let's hear the playing of the national anthem.
Please rise, remove your hats, and help us honor America as the Crusader Band will play our national anthem.
Well, we've got the anthem in, and that means it's time for the starting lineups. And Lincoln Christian, they will be the visitors tonight here. They come in with a record of 15-8, and this is the way they're going to go. They will have in the backcourt Ethan Barrier, their leading scorer at 13.1 points a game. He's a 6-foot senior, and he'll be joined back there by Gage Holland. He's a 6-foot senior as well, averaging 6.4 points a game and can really play the defense. The dynamic Cohen Sand, a 6'2 freshman, averaging just about 3 assists a game. And then you've got Kobe Hansen, a 5'9 senior, averaging just over 4 points a game. And the big man in the middle, the 7-footer, he's a senior, averaging 12.8 points a game, shooting 62% from the field, is Easton Marshbank. The head coach, Gary Nunnally. He's assisted by Chad Hansen, Noah Borgman, Mike Ring, and Josh Nunnally, and Nate Gray. And now for the Blue Jays of Ashland-Greenwood, ranked #1 in Class C1. They are led by Too Smooth, Cale Jacobson, as Jordan Wallman calls him, a 6'4 senior, averaging just over 16 a game. Evan Shepard, he's dynamic as well. He can fly through the air, a 6'2 senior, averaging just under 8 points a game. And then Brooks Kissinger, defensive threat, offensive threat, averaging over 11 points a game. He is a 6'2 junior. Then you've got Cougar Consum, one of the forwards. He's a 6'4 junior, averaging 8.5 a game. And there's Maximilian Parker, a 6'6" senior, and he is averaging just over 10 a game. So here we go as we get the starting lineups in, the student body for Ashland-Greenwood on their feet. And it'll be Max Parker. He's won most of the opening tips this year, but you gotta wonder, will he win the opening tip tonight against Marshbank?
He's got a smile on his face.
It'll be Jake Wolf who's gonna throw it in the air. The official announces, the crowd erupts on the opening tip. It's wild here tonight and the birdcage, and it will be man-to-man defense. They're going to put the big man on Consum, and there's an entry feed to Jacobson. It's 2-0.
Hey, a little old school radio broadcast. We got some people standing in front of the camera, and there's a couple more coming. Packed house.
Late arriving. We'll try to get him cleared here from the camera, folks, and from us. And the ball nearly turned over, tracking it down to Sam, the freshman. And he'll work over to the right side. Now they're going to go over to Hanson. Top of the key. This is as loud as I've ever heard it. Here's a backdoor cut to Holland. Reverse layup blocked by Shepard. Who's going to come out of there with it? And there's a whistle. And I think they're going to call Cale Jacobson on a reach-in. Gentlemen, have you ever heard it as loud as it is tonight here in the birdcage?
Maybe Wahoo, but that was record crowd.
Yeah. And here comes Holland, man-to-man to the big D of Ashland-Greenwood. Looking into Marshbank. Max working on him hard. Marshbank with his back to the basket. Nice job there. Blue Jays going to track down Harrion, and it's stolen. Quick hands. They take it away from Barrier. Bounce pass to Brooks. Kicks it out. Free ball on its way. No good. Rebound down to Kissinger. Ball fake. Oh, this place would have come out of its shoes if that three goes down by Consum.
Boy, that would have been something.
Here comes Consum again. He says, why not? Three ball, a little short. And the rebound coming down the Barrier. Back the other way. Here comes Barrier attacking the leading scorer. We got a whistle and a charge on Barrier.
Boy, that would have been interesting. That could have been Cale's second foul.
Very good point. The senior was so close to getting number 2.
Ooh.
That would not be what we want.
No.
Well, fellas, we got our question answered. They're going to put Marshbanks on Cougar. Cougar's going to bring him out just like we thought might happen. And the Blue Jays should be able to attack the rim, and that's how they got their first bucket. As they get it down to Cale, here's Marshbanks, going to give a little help. Cale will go to the rim. He's fouled. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2. And I believe they're going to call Holland on that.
And Holland's their guy. He's 6 foot, but he's strong. He's athletic, tough-minded. So it's a good assignment for him. That's a role he can take on tonight as a leader for this team. And it's a tough assignment guarding Cale, but good thing he's got Marshbanks back there.
Jacobson, a 79% free throw shooter. High archer, won't go down.
Boy, do you think you post up Max if they got the big guy outside on?
I think you let Max attack. Back to the basket isn't Max's deal.
Okay.
He's athletic and he can fly, but holding the block.
Right.
That's more of a you and me thing here than Mo's.
I got you.
Here's some 1-2-2 full court pressure, by the way. Barrier's going to attack the rim, and he kisses it off the backboard. It's now 3-2.
Leading scorer for them. He plays.
Kissinger on the outlet. He's going to miss the bunny, but there's Cougar.
Pound the board.
Reverse layup, no good, but he traveled. And there's Marshbank, who made Brooks Kissinger change his shot just so slightly.
I like the attack, Coach. I don't know what you think, but I like how Brooks went at it. I do.
Yeah. I think that's the plan.
3-2. Blue Jays with that early lead. Just under 6 minutes to go first quarter. Lincoln Christian going to attack this 1-2-2. Hanson down on the block. Kicks it out to Barrier. Jacobson on him. Dane Jacobson just checked in the game, the sophomore. Now attacking here is the freshman, and look at that shot! Knocks it home! Cohen Sands and a turnover, and now it's Lincoln Christian's turn to raise a ruckus here in the birdcage.
Kind of like it, it gets the pulse up. It feels good to be in an electric gym right now, and you got to ride the waves. Lincoln Christian's playing well. That was a good move by Sand on the other end.
It's been a while since it's been this crazy. The conference championship against Fort Calhoun, but it is electric tonight. As Barrier will lob it in. Marshbank, turn around, got it over Turker, and it's 6-3 Lincoln Christian. 4:57 to go first quarter. Behind the back pass from Cale to Banks. And the Lincoln Christian student body with their own chant as Cougar Consum's going to attack the 7-footer, and he travels. And so the Blue Jays starting to get adjusted here, starting to see what it's like to play against Marshbanks.
Yeah, you can see part of the plan is to go at him, and he's doing a great job just running and walling, not swinging. Basketball is a game of waves, long 4-quarter game.
Going to be patient, bringing it up. Sand, the freshman, wants to stay out of that double team. Nicely done, but he threw it away.
See, they're not using Marshbank on this press break, and I think they're going to have to maybe eventually. They got him down underneath the hoop.
Yeah, it's a very simple way to talk about how to break a press or a zone. Just have guys that can throw it over them.
Yeah. Put him in the middle.
Here comes Jacobson. Kicks it out wide open. Parker for three. Too much. Rebound down to Hansen. Wants to run. He's got Marshbanks down there. They lob it up way over his head. Barrier just a little bit too juiced up that time.
You dodge a bullet, but a theme continues. Marshbanks is a rim runner. He's a runner in transition. He's a runner in transition D as well.
By the way, Marshbanks, the 7-footer, not going to play college ball as Max Parker puts up a three. Bingo!
Tim, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about that, about Marshbanks. So I'm going to use my time to talk to give it to you.
Well, yep, had a chance to talk with Coach Nunnally. He said he just wants to finish up here in high school, won't go on to college ball, and there's a rebound there for Max Parker. And they're coming the other way. 6-6 to score. Look at Kale go! He gets fouled! He hits the bucket! And the Blue Jays get the lead.
That's sweet. Good move from Kale. Strong finish. He does a lot of really good things, and so it's a big moment for him.
And so Jacobson, 1 of 2 tonight from the line. We mentioned he's a 79% free throw shooter. For the Blue Jays, you got Parker in there, Cons, Kale Jacobson, Evan Shepard, and Dane Jacobson. And for Lincoln Christian, you've got the big man, Marshbanks, as that free throw goes down.
Yeah, they got 2 subs in there, 11 and 30.
Absolutely. They just brought in Luke Hovendick, as they beat the pressure, get it down here to Herrera, and he gets it to go! He played terrific the other night, and he knocks it down again. Back inside, there's a block on Kale Jacobson by the 7-footer. Hovendick is running 2-on-2. They get it down to Herrera, who's feeling it. That time can't get it to go, and the board down to Parker. 9-9 the score. Kale, crossover dribble, kicks it out. Cougar travel. Cougar, when you see that 7-footer though, it just makes you do a little bit of different things, doesn't it?
Makes you hesitate a little. Just a little, trying to think too much.
And Cougar was that time. He's just got to take a deep breath. And Marshbanks making his presence felt early on. So impressed with this kid. How about Herrera off the bench? Played great Tuesday night. And now we got a foul on the Blue Jays underneath. And the senior comes in the game and knocks down a tray. That's when you know you got depth, right, Coach?
You bet. Yep. If you got guys off your bench coming in knocking it down, you got something going.
And Hovendick will inbounds. They weren't quite ready for this pass to come in, but Marshbanks pulls it down. Hovendick on the wing. It's man-to-man. Sand against Jacobson. That's a freshman versus a sophomore. They get it into Marshbanks. And there's the bucket. Nicely done by the senior to post up on Max.
And, he does such a great job of getting the ball with his guy on his back. Coach, you called that out yesterday, but finished high percentage with that.
Evan Shepard, he's fouled. And let's see if they call Marshbanks on this. You mentioned this the other night. You got to love Marshbanks. He goes over, Evan's on the ground. It's an intense game, and he helps Evan up.
Top-notch kid. Great sportsman. A little worried about down here. They had that lob, and I'm not sure backside help can even do much on this guy. A lot of times when you get somebody front in the post, you bring that backside help. Kale Jacobson was down there, and I'm not sure if he was standing right there, if he could have done anything about it.
And, it's a little bit of shock factor. Max Parker doesn't meet many kids longer than him, and that's an advantage he's taken advantage of all season. And I think even Max was like, I can block this, and Marshbanks was up there higher than him.
Yeah. Might have to pressure up on the perimeter.
And just play a different style of defense than you played all year.
Yeah.
Work before the pass rather than try to contest.
By the way, that foul was on Marshbanks. So he's got one, and Kale Jacobson's got a foul, and Evan Shepard hit both of those free throws. And here's Barrier at the top of the key. Working against the ball hawk. Shepard. Bounce pass to the 7-footer. He looks. Fine Hovendick. Man-to-man defense. They get it down again to Marshbanks. Skip pass. Sand's going to step back for a three, won't go, and there is Max Parker on the board. 11-11, under 2 to go. Evan Shepard, right baseline drive, has it stripped and stolen by Hovendick. They kick it out to Barrier, crossover dribble, he'll attack. Left-handed layup, won't go, tipped out to Shepard. He's got numbers, 2-on-1, no look pass to Kale. Reverse, goal! Oh!
What a shot.
Mamma mia!
What a shot.
Woo!
You know what I'm gonna say, Tim? Too smooth, Cale Jacobson back at it again.
Man, he got to the other side of the rim from that right block.
Flight 3 cleared for takeoff.
Man alive, what a shot. And again, a gorgeous pass from Evan Shepard. A no look. He knew he had Kale behind him. Just let out the bounce pass.
That's sweet.
And there's Kale on the free throw. So it is now 14-11. It has been a seesaw battle here in this first quarter. Lincoln Christians led, the Blue Jays led twice. Hovendick off that right elbow. Crowd chanting defense. They get it into Barrier. He's double down on the block. He's trying to fight through it. He scores, and he's fouled, and he flexes on the shot.
And he does a really good job.
That's the second one on Kale.
He's a smart player. I'm sure Mose will kind of vary his minutes, but I think Kale knows how to play with fouls. The thing with Barrier is that he gets to that jump stop and uses his pivot foot so unbelievably well.
Yeah.
That's something he does a lot. Pivot, finish strong.
Well, Cale Jacobson and Lionel McFall had a very heated discussion near midcourt. Cale did not like the call. Lionel McFall gave him his editorial opinion, and back the other way comes Kissinger. On the block, step through, look at this reverse layup by Brooks Kissinger.
They're doing a great job. They're finishing across the net, so they're using the net kind of as a shield to avoid the long reach of Marshbanks.
16-14, Barrier in the paint, jump stop. He spins again, too hard that time. There's Hollenbeck, the 6'6" senior make that, who cannot finish at the rim.
I think you're going to hold for one here.
By the way, Hollenbeck, a 6'6" junior. He'd like that shot back, I think.
Yeah.
And Coach is right. We're under 30 seconds to go. The Blue Jays up by 2, and Coach Mose says, let's take the air out of it. This is the most points that an opponent has scored against the Blue Jays since Wahoo. And now we got a whistle and a reach in on Sand.
Yeah, he's telling Kale to be smart, so I'm thinking he doesn't want him to get a charge here.
Yeah, don't go downhill. You know guys are going to converge down. I'll tell you what, I like the fight from Sand. He picks up his second foul, but
he's got two.
That was Kale 4 years ago playing Lincoln Christian in the same subs district game. He was a freshman going up against the senior Justin Bubach.
1-3-1.
Here we go, 1-3-1 as Coach calls out. And by the way, how about this? This gamble here by Coach Mose to keep Kale in with 2 fouls. Skip pass to Kale. Kale's going to get in the paint. Goes at it. He'll score! And it's an 18-14 lead as Cale Jacobson, Coach Mose, says, you know what? Let's roll the dice. Let's keep our talented senior in with 2 fouls. Could have taken him out the last minute and a half, but stayed with it. Coach, walk us through that first quarter from your perspective.
Well, both teams are trying to feel each other out a little bit. Both teams have the capability of pushing the basketball. So I think we obviously like to, and I think they can, with the big guy, they can do it either way. You know, they can get it inside. So I don't know. I think they're both trying to feel out which is going to be the best option here.
And Jordan, Coach Mose had a choice there. He says, you know what, I'm going to stick with Cale. He's a smart senior, and he kept him in the game with 2 fouls late in that first quarter. Your thoughts?
You know, Cale's an intuitive kid. It's not a hard concept to understand that you in the game is more valuable than you playing or getting a block shot on one possession. It's not a hard concept to tell a kid, but to apply that to an entire game, every single play, that's where Cale's going to have the knowledge and the ability to not pick up a 3rd foul, hopefully.
Well, as I mentioned, this is the most points the Blue Jays have given up in the opening quarter since Wahoo. And I take that back. There might have been Roncalli, may have scored, and that was in late December. But in other words, it's been close to 2 months that they've given up 14 points in a quarter. And we're underway in the second quarter of this raucous Class C1-2 sub-district final, and Evan Shepard reaches in and commits a quick foul.
Evan's kind of turning around like he didn't make that much contact, but it's like, Evan, that looked really bad.
Yeah.
You followed the screen around him, so
Well,
it's a good call.
They were in the air. There were 6 fouls to 3, so a lot of times they have a tendency to even it up a little bit.
Oh,
That's right.
that's not how a ref's mind works.
there
Either.
we
We never
go.
notice
Here we
those
go.
things.
Here we go.
Here's Marshbanks. Back to the basket against Max. He's going to show shooting touch, won't go, and Shepard with the board. He wants to run. No numbers, but he just goes, and we got a block. And he will go to the line to shoot 2. Great job by effort. When he got that rebound, it was 1-on-3.
Yeah.
And before you know it, his speed, it's 1-on-1.
Yeah, he's got extreme speed. And that kid did a nice job at least getting semi-set up.
Yeah, he made it.
It was close.
Evan Euroed, and so
It was a close call.
Yeah, it was. The kid did a great. I don't remember specifically who it was.
The foul there, Hansen.
Hansen.
Yep.
He did a great job
Number 1.
of making it look good.
Yeah.
And that is Hansen's first foul. The 5'9" senior does a little bit of everything for Lincoln Christian. Evan goes 1 of 2 to make it a 5-point Blue Jay lead, the biggest of the night for Ashland-Greenwood. So how will Lincoln Christian respond? As Hansen's working down to the corner to barrier. There's Holland on the block. Cougar working against him. Little hook shot won't go. And Cougar with the board. Great block out by Konza. Leads out Evan. Lobs up to Kale. Bodies flying. Konza left open for a 3. Bingo!
Boy, that was great for his confidence because he had missed, 2 or 3 maybe.
And if Marshbanks is going to guard him, he's going to have. If he can shoot some shots, that's going to close down the spacing.
Yeah.
Sorry, fellas, it's getting important now here for Lincoln Christian to answer. They're down to 8. And going there is Sand, the freshman, and it's partially blocked by Shepard, taken away by Kale. Kale, long pass to Brooks Kissinger. He splits 2 defenders, looks for some help, and he'll just take it himself, but it won't go. Who's going to come up with it? We got a whistle jump ball. Possession arrow, Blue Jays.
I think it speaks a lot to Brooks' season that as that shot goes up, I'm almost expecting it to go in, and as it's bouncing around, I'm expecting it to drop. He finished it so well in transition. We'll give him a pass on that one.
Here's the inbounds to Cougar. Oh, Parker gets his man to go down barrier and hits the bucket.
We got a timeout.
And it's a 10-point game and a timeout, Coach Nunnally.
Who's the T on? A timeout?
Timeout.
Oh my gosh, you scared me.
No, we're good.
Okay.
What did I say, T?
No, I saw Max kind of being emotional because he had such an open lane that he wished he would have dunked, but that's fine. That's fine. Max, lay that up. 2 points is 2 points.
Yeah, I think that out of bounds play had been talked about because Max was extremely excited that somehow I think they had worked him into that out of bounds play.
Yeah, little box. They run a little box set, and then Kale floats over.
And a one-on-one on that.
Comes back up. Then, Max isn't the ISO guy, but he kind of made the Christian player slip there a little bit. But hey, take your 2 points, Max. Don't be greedy.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, I think Jordan is referring to Max has got multiple dunks on the year. And I'd like to say this. I'd love to say that was an ankle breaker by Max, but honestly,
no.
barrier just fell down. He just slipped.
Nope.
Nothing special there.
He's a good player. He's been playing good defense all night. It's Max's first points, I think.
It is indeed. And here's Barrier speaking of. Bolin will reverse it. Back over to Hansen. It's set play. 3 won't go. Look at everybody skying, but the Blue Jays ran into each other in midair, and it went out on Parker.
Don't love the teammates fighting. We got to communicate that, but that does show 2 guys committed to boxing out Marshbanks, and that's a huge role for the Blue Jays because he grabbed so many rebound putbacks last night.
Lincoln Christian searching for their first bucket, but Evan Shepard steals it. Will he lay it in? He does.
Just a nice little lay from Evan. He, good job by him stealing that pass, and then the track star Midland commits out.
Yep. I don't think he was going to risk a dunk there. I think it's too important a game. We just get the 2 points.
Exactly.
He got one down in Malcolm the other night.
Yeah, he
but
did.
As Coach says, sub-district finals, a little different story. As Barrier loses it on the way up because of the good, tough defense, and here comes Shepard again. He's doing it all tonight for the Big Blue. Parker with a 23-footer. No, we got a whistle and a block on Barrier. And Barrier just a little bit frustrated right now.
Yeah.
And right now, Christian is really closing out hard as we hit some threes. And so on those last 2, Max is doing a great job showing eyes, showing a loaded shot, and then staying low and ripping through. not something we've seen from Max a lot this year, but he's done it twice tonight. And it's a good thing to break down defenses.
So Parker at the line, he should have 1 and 1. The senior is shooting 83% from the charity stripe. His front end, no misses. And here's a long pass to Herrera, who just checked in the game. And there's going to be a turnover in the backcourt as Dane Jacobson tracks it down. The sophomore has a trailer, and Kissinger, and he hits the bottom of the backboard and then grabbed the ball. Nope, he stepped out of bounds. Blue Jays have yet to give up a bucket in almost 3 minutes of this second quarter.
They're playing solid defense right now.
And it's turning into offense a little bit with some transition stuff, so kind of a win-win.
I think the key is to continue to keep Marshbank off the board on that second and third shot. We've been only giving him 1 shot.
And here's Marshbank. Oh, he went for the jam, a little short. Then he went for the reverse layup and didn't get it, went off the right leg of Cougar Consum.
And credit him. I've seen 2 games of his now, and I legitimately think those are 2 of the first shots I've seen him miss.
Yeah.
He is such a high percentage shooter.
Well, to your point, Jordan, 65% from the field this year, and he's 1 of 10 from 3. So you take that out of there, he's probably shooting close to 70%. And Sand, the freshman, finds a cutter in Hansen. Hook shot won't go. There's Drake Zimmerman.
1 shot again.
And Coach Schubert giving some credit to Zimmerman, too, who did a good job on the block out. Just checked in the game. Parker in the corner. 26-14. Getting dangerous here for Lincoln Christian is Jacobson in the paint, working against Herrera. He'll draw the foul. And let's see if they call this a 2-shot variety or a 1 and 1. They're going to give him 2.
Saying a little arm contact there. I didn't quite see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a real keen eye for fouls.
It was kind of a trick question. I just kind of wanted to see your thoughts on it, honestly. I did a middle school girls C-team game today in the main gym before I came here. Biff Schofield was riding me pretty hard. I don't know if he's here, if he's listening, but he let me know how I was doing.
Oh, he will do that, will Biff. There's no doubt about it. Biff, a heck of a player himself in the 90s. And 1 free throw there for Dane Jacobson, so it's a 13-point Blue Jays lead. And Lincoln Christian with Sam, the freshman, trying to get him off the snide, and he does here in the second quarter with that 15-footer.
That's his shot, a little 15-footer. He stepped into that confidently. He's such a good player. When he's got space, he's got a chance to make those.
Parker in the corner, Dane Jacobson. They're playing a little catch. Here's another sophomore in. Drake looking for some help. They're going to try to attack, no. Blue Jays being very patient here. Cale Jacobson getting a little breather in this one. Brooks in the paint. Turnaround jumper. Kissinger gets his own board, though. And then here comes Herrera on the steal. No, Dane tracks it back down. 5 on 4. Dane attacks the big man, thinks better of it, finds Shepard. No, he missed everything. And Evan coming up limping just a little bit. Here comes Sand, the freshman, short on the shot. Can Marshbank get it? He can. He's fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2.
That's the second shot I think we've given up this quarter. That's pretty good D if you give him 1 shot.
Boy, you'd be happy, Coach, right, with that?
Oh, definitely. And, another thing is when Cale's out of the game, these are super valuable minutes. What do we look like with Cale off the court? It takes a little rebounding aspect, strong hands to get 50-50 balls away as well.
Right. Marshbank's shooting just 56% from the line this year, now 0 of 1 tonight. He's got 4 points. Here's the second free throw. Got that one.
Are they going to try to get to halftime without Cale? Maybe?
Maybe put him in the 3-minute mark.
Yeah.
Or, just kind of whenever he says he's ready or whenever Coach Mo says he's ready. I don't think there's a specific plan with time correlation to it.
Coach Mose with some decisions to make, and Cougar's going to go right after Marshbank. Here's Drake. Zimmerman, left-handed layup, good, and he's fouled! And that's a big one for Zimmerman.
I'm super happy for Drake. He put so much time in, and he kind of had some trouble finishing in some JV games late. We know how talented he is. He's so close. And that one he went with a beautiful left hand because he's so consistent shooting with his left and his right. Good for him.
And the Blue Jays getting some production. Cade Bridges is out with an injury, and he's been terrific off the bench this year. Drake coming in, getting those minutes, and making that bucket. Blue Jays up 12. Sand, jump stop. Boy, he is explosive, isn't he? But Brooks Kissinger doing a whale of a job on him. Hovenick looking for some help, and look at this Blue Jay defense. Marshbank's got some position inside, turnaround Jay, good, and he's fouled.
I love it. Talk about a little drama. There's some exciting plays back and forth. I mean by drama, but he's showing a little back to the basket, a little footwork, and when you're a 7-footer, that ball's coming off your hand pretty dang high.
I absolutely love this kid's game. I love his attitude. Now, interestingly enough, Coach Mo said, look, we want to overplay his left shoulder when his back's to the basket. We want him to turn inside, not obviously to that left side on that left shoulder. And that time he was able to turn to the side he really likes and knock it off the glass.
He's spending a lot of time over on this right block. Of course, a lot of teams are right-handed anyway, so
here they go. Jacobson with his team up 9, coming back in just like you guys called it. Kale off the glass. Attack Holland, and it's now 31-20.
There's just a level of patience to Kale sometimes when he scores. He just waits for everyone to jump by or go by and then elevates to his spot. Really great player in Kale.
Jacobson comes out on Hovenick. Just when Lincoln Christian kind of gets something going, the Blue Jays respond, and here comes Herrera from 3 land. Won't go, and there's Parker on the board. And Kale will attack. Looks back up top. They're going to swing it around. Max Parker gets in the paint. There's his back to the basket there that you guys talked about. Not totally comfortable with that. Gets a screen. Look at that pass. Behind the back to Parker. Won't go. And Holland with the board. Come out of there running. Blue Jays by 11. Lincoln Christian trying to cut it. Get it underneath 10. We have 1:30 to go here in this sub-district final. Here's a nice little play to Herrera, but quickly on him was Cougar Condon. Marshbank, long ways from home is Marshbank, and he'll make a skip pass instead. Hovenick working, tough shot, rebound, fought for, and the 7-footer comes up with it a little short on his putback. There's Dane Jacobson. Kale's gonna attack, high off the glass. Oh my goodness gracious, what a shot. And Marshbanks and Kale help each other up.
Great sportsmanship by Kale helping that kid up, unbelievable.
33-20. Blue Jays fighting. Kale Jacobson could be in their circus tonight. He's made some high wire acts, and now we've got a foul on the Big Blue. That last shot, fellas, he just took that ball, palmed it in his hand, and just took it off the glass. You don't see many kids who can do that.
No.
Kids today call that a lay. Like, that's some of the slang that they use. They'll say lay.
Yeah.
I say too smooth, Kale Jacobson back at it again.
Here's the first free throw up by Holland is good. He's a 42% free throw shooter. Cuts it to 12. And Coach Nunnally having a long conversation over here with Ryan Wolf. And he got them both, correct, Coach? I was looking down here, watching the coach and the official talk.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I would like to know what Coach Nunnally's talking about.
Yeah.
Did you think Kale's deal was a charge, or what did?
I don't think so.
Okay. I honestly heard a shoe squeak on Kale's layup, and I thought it was another and one.
No,
I have a feeling they might be talking about something else away from that play.
Okay, he's a little fired up, and Nunnally's a smart guy. He's got a doctorate. He'll pick his battles, and he's picking it right now. Respectfully, very respectfully he is.
Now he's working on the other guy. He's going to get them all before halftime.
He's a smart guy. He's got a lot of respect in the community.
Yes.
He's doing it the right way.
Yes.
10 seconds. Kale's going to attack, and there's a block by Marshbank, and he's going to go right at him again.
Oh,
we got a whistle to foul, and that could be the second on Marshbank.
I think it's going to be on 42. 11.
They're going to call it on Hovenick.
Yeah. I thought Marshbanks was straight up.
Yeah.
And he's a tall task to get it over, no pun intended.
11-point lead, stays at 11 as Cougar misses that.
Tim, I take that back, pun intended. I meant to go that way, so just set the record straight.
You are a sharp cat yourself over there, Jordan Wallman. So here comes the second free throw, and it won't go for Cougs. 3 seconds to go, 11-point game. Hovind Dick, oh boy, we could have had a foul on that one as Brooks went after that shot. But you don't get many fouls called on that, but what a wild first half as the Big Blue able to score 33 points against this Lincoln Christian team who the other night made it impossible for Lincoln Lutheran to do anything. Holland absolutely shut down the best player, offensive player for Lincoln Lutheran in Johnny Pells. And tonight the Blue Jays able to put up 33. Let's start there, fellas. Coach Moses got to be pleased, Coach, with the 33 points that they were able to get up against a very good defensive squad.
Yes, and they continue. They've done that all year. They continue to push the ball to the rim, continue to get threes. How many threes did they get this half? Probably 5.
Let's see here. I got Ashland. We didn't get as many as you think, Coach. I think we've just got 2. Yep.
Just 2. Okay.
1 for Cougar, 1 for Max.
Okay. All right. So that still is a factor because we do a lot of that. But I think they really push the pace, and I think that's part of the plan.
But does that tell part of the story that the Blue Jays are able to attack the rim tonight? Lincoln Christian has chosen not to go zone. They're going to go man-to-man.
Right.
And the Blue Jays have been able to get a lot of points at the rim. Does that tell part of the story that Blue Jays up by 11 but only hit 2 trades?
Right. Might be. And zone or not, zones don't protect you in transition. I mean, because this Blue Jay team just continues to beat people down the floor.
Yeah.
I've seen it all season. It's amazing how quickly.
That's such a great point because you're right. Most of the Blue Jay points have come out of transition. Wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
They're playing zone or man-to-man.
Box and one, whatever they want.
He's just been like a thoroughbred out of a starting gate.
Yeah.
Every time he gets the basketball, he starts with negative numbers. Oftentimes a 1-on-4, 1-on-3, and before he gets to the rim, it's 1-on-1.
Yeah. And a lot of times you have length or speed, but you very rarely have both. This Blue Jay team has both. They got length, tall guys with long arms, and with a lot of speed.
I wondered if that was him. Brett Sapp in the house tonight, and I wasn't sure if that was him. He walked by here earlier, and we may have to get him over here and do a little halftime talk with him. But you know, Jordan, let's talk a little bit here as well. Here we go. We got him back.
Hey.
Hey, I thought that might be you. Hi, buddy. Come on in. We're going to put a headset on you. Get your thoughts on this first half. You ready? This is a paid position, Brett. So
it is.
News to all of us.
That's new news right there.
Well, Brett, of course, sat on the bench with Coach Tim Miles on that coaching staff in Nebraska. And by the way, just saw a great picture the other day I put on Twitter of that 2006 team that went to state and got beat by Shadron in the semifinals. But good to see you. Tell me your thoughts on this first half here.
I'll tell you what really impresses me about this team. They're obviously very skilled at all the positions. They got great length, but the speed that they play at is so fast. Anybody that gets the rebound is turning, going. They got guys running, moving the ball. I think that's what really other teams have struggled with. You have to be locked in the instant that ball gets across half court, and it's just, with everybody that can shoot, it's just so easy to get good looks and find those breakdowns early.
I'm going to let Coach Hubert take over here in a second, but he just said it. You know, I talked about whether they're playing man or whether they're playing zone. It wouldn't really matter because the transition game of the Blue Jays has been so exceptional tonight. It's been tough to slow down. They've gotten a lot of points at the rim out of that transition game, haven't they?
Yeah, and Lincoln Christian kind of had a rough start to the second quarter, too. Turning the ball over a couple times and just kind of getting Ashland going, it seemed like. But, yeah, to your point, regardless of what defense you're in, getting back and getting set, and Coach knows the communication of doing that is a real big part of transition defense.
All right, Coach, take it away
What's your thoughts on the big guy, the 7-footer, Marshbank?
I think he moves pretty well for a big guy. You know, a lot of times kids, I know he's a senior, right? And so he's a little bit more developed when they're young. Back to that Shadron team with Elliot Eliason.
Yes.
Good 7-footer there. When we played him, I think he was a sophomore or freshman, was still a little bit clumsier. It takes him a lot of time. He's got good coordination. I feel like good hands, good touch. He's missed some short, I think, as Max has done a good job getting him off the rim a little bit, giving him longer looks. But, yeah, I've been impressed with him for, you know, a kid of his size and at his age. He moves really well.
Right, and Lincoln Christian's got number 5, that freshman guard.
That's right. Luke
Number
Sands,
5?
I don't know if you know, he is a freshman, that number 5.
Yeah, I heard
He's
plenty
pretty
talking on the other
explosive.
side.
Yeah.
He is very quick,
Looked
great
like a
first
little young,
step.
Brett Sapp out there.
No, I didn't drive that much. He's a lot more
looked a lot
aggressive
like
than
him.
I was, but no, he's a nice player, and
Yeah.
he's going to have a bright future. Reminds me a lot of Brooks a lot, I think, right now, too. They're
Yeah.
very similar playing styles, kind of those slashing, quick guards that have a good enough jump shot
Yeah.
to kind of make you respect it.
You know, you played on an excellent team in 2006. You mentioned Elliot Esiason, right? I said that
Elliot
right?
Eliason,
Elliot
yep.
Eliason, all right. And he went on to play at Minnesota, if
He
I
did.
remember right. He was a 7-footer.
He was.
And so talk a little bit. You know, I put that picture up the other night because I was doing a little thing on Tyler Craven. He was the student manager back
Oh, yeah.
then. But I have to imagine you've got some great memories of that 2006 season. Tell us a couple of them.
Oh, just first of all, it was just the camaraderie with the team. We had 10 seniors on that team, so there was a whole lot of us that went, 7th grade all the way through playing together. So that was a lot of fun, and all just the memories with those guys. For sure, the win over Wahoo is obviously an easy one to kind of circle. The win in the first
And,
round.
Yeah, I was just going to say first round of state. They
Yeah.
beat you earlier in the year.
2 times.
Yeah.
We had lost to them for the regular season title here. This is what came down to the regular season, and then we lost to them in the tournament title as well. Very good Wahoo team. I think they went into state as a number 2 overall seed. So, but that was a very sweet victory, and obviously playing at Devaney too. Even though we lost the game, that was a big moment and just a fun place to play. I grew up going to so many Nebraska basketball games, and getting to go on the floor and play a very, very meaningful game meant a lot, even though it didn't come out our way.
Yeah, and tell us what it was like to play. Since we're seeing a game tonight, the Blue Jays playing against the 7-footer. What was it like, and what do you remember about what you guys had to try to do to attack Shadron that night with all that size in the middle?
Yeah, and I think what they're doing is a lot better than what we did. We hadn't seen any size like even close to that all season, and we struggled with it initially, trying to just kind of play through it like you always do. But those guys playing straight up are such great shot blockers just at that. Ash is doing a good job attacking him at the rim, pivoting, seeing if he kind of gives some ground then, otherwise kicking back out and re-attacking, which is a great strategy. They're doing a good job taking the space and then finding the new space after the defense shifts.
I got one more for you here, and then we're going to get Mark Adele in. But I happened to see this beautiful little lady the other night on Twitter who's having dinner and watching a basketball game. And I got a feeling she might just be a basketball player herself someday, huh?
With some slight nudges from me, probably, yeah. That's my daughter, Emerson. One of her first 10 words is ball already, so we're starting.
You're in great. And she is, if I remember, about 8 months?
A little bit older, 15 months
15
already.
months.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Goes fast.
Oh, it does go. Trust me,
Goes
it
fast.
goes very fast. Well, enjoy every day with her. That is awesome.
Yeah,
And,
good seeing you guys again. For everybody else out there, thanks for doing these. I've been loving watching and listening, so we appreciate it at home.
Oh, well, man, you have been a big part of it. So thank you, Brett Sapp.
Thanks, Brett.
Former Nebraska assistant coach on the bench with Coach Miles. Thank you. And Mark, hey, tell us what the numbers tell us.
Well, we're 12 of 22 from the field, 55%, which is pretty good against a team like this. Like to see us shoot a little better from 3. We were a little cold, and I kind of suspected that. When you need it is when you're cold, it seems like. We're 2 for 7, 29%. We've left some points at the free throw line, 7 of 14, 50%. They are just 8 of 26 for 31% from the field. 1 of 4 from 3, 25%. They're 5 of 6 from the line, though, 83%. This stat is going to surprise you. We are out rebounding them 15 to 11. 4 offensive for each team. Turnovers, they have taken reasonably good care of the ball against us, and that always gives a team a chance to beat us. To 7 turnovers, 5 for us. And I'd say knock down a few more threes, a few more free throws. I don't think you can count on them shooting 31% for the second half. They're a better team than that.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. Well, the numbers always tell a little bit of a story, and there's no doubt about it. The Blue Jays shooting 55%, that's good. I do have to give a ton of credit to Lincoln Christian. Just having turnover-wise just 7. They've been so patient in their offense, making good decisions. Normally right now the Blue Jays have forced 11 or 12 turnovers in the half.
Right. And they appear to me to be very smart team that's very savvy. They know what the game plan is. They play good team basketball, so I think this thing's a long ways from being over.
Well, it's an 11-point game. Coach Hubert says, folks, stay in your seats, keep a watching, as we have a great second half in this packed house in Ashland, Nebraska tonight. Hansen will get it into barrier. Kale almost got a steal from behind. Blue Jays put out there. Here's Marshbank down on the block. He's doubled, he kicks it out. And Sand, the freshman, finds a cutting Holen, who just throws a prayer up. It won't go. Marshbank's on the putback, and he got it. And a foul on Max.
You know, he continues to attack the rim. Huber, you've called all the times they've gotten one shot opportunity, two shot opportunities. But I'll tell you, as that ball kind of hung on that rim, you could feel the gym hanging on by a thread, ready to explode, and the Lincoln Christian faithful showed up.
You know, Tim and I were talking about that the other night. First shot's about 45%, second shot's about 60%, third shot's about 80%.
Heck yeah, I like that a lot.
Well, we got it now down to 8. Max Parker left alone. We got Evan Shepard in the game. He's going to go all the way in the paint. We got a whistle and foul, I think, on Hansen, as the official Lionel McFall makes the call. But it is on the floor. Each team with a team foul. It's the second foul, by the way, on Hansen tonight. And so the Blue Jays will inbounds. Here come the inbounds here, and they'll get it out top to Cougar. Cougar working. It's this tough man-to-man of Christian, and there's Brooks down on the block, and then he's fouled. So a couple of quick fouls here, and I think they're going to call Sand the freshman.
And that's his third, I believe.
Let's see, it's his second team foul. Very good. Jordan Wallman, the freshman. Cohen Sand with his third. Big one there. Inbounds to Shepard. Set play on a double screen, but he can't knock it home. Parker tries to get it. Tracking it is Barrier, and Holen comes up with it. Great hustle by Barrier. 8-point game. Now this will be interesting because the Blue Jays normally come out and put the game away to start these third quarters. They've been so deadly in the first 4 minutes of the third. But tonight, Lincoln Christian's got it under 10, and that pass nearly stolen by Kale. There's Marshbanks down on the block. Turn around against Parker. Won't go, and there's Kale on the board. Long pass. Cougar gets behind him. There's the transition game.
All-state quarterback Cale Jacobson, keeps finding his receivers deep. Tell you, Cougar be pretty good tight end on the football team.
Well, that was broken coverage, if you will, in the secondary as Hansen comes down with it, gives it to Holen. The freshman staying in the game with 3. Brooks just doing a marvelous job on him. 10-point Blue Jay lead here early in the third. Marshbanks almost had to get away. Kicks it out to Holen. He's going to drive against Cooper, and he gets it up and goes.
Holen does a really good job of playing off 2 feet, whether that's a 2-foot floater, whether that's a 2-foot layup. He's always playing off 2. I love that from him.
Great job by Barrier that time to cut off Max Parker. 8-point game. Here's a cutting. Jacobson against the big man. It's blocked. That's the second block tonight on Marshbanks on Kale, but it's tough to get up and over him. Barrier just going to go spin. Look at this move. Wowza!
Talked about Kale's lay in the first half. There's a lay from Barrier using his right hand on the left side. Body protects the layup.
The 6-foot senior putting on a show. And it's a 6-point game, the closest it's been since early in the second. Cougar, open 3. Schwartz and tracking it down is Holen. Coach Mose marking out some encouragement. Here's a 15-footer by the freshman, and he makes it a 4-point game.
That's his shot when he gets to space. Ooh, Kale got a little blood on him. I think on that Marshbanks block, he I don't know why we're cheering for Kale having blood on him. I don't know why that gets a little extra roar.
Well, yeah. I don't know that they are. I honestly think they're cheering this run that they're on to make it, to cut it to 4. And it's been an impressive one because, my goodness, they were down big here. They've cut it to 4. Credit Lincoln Christian with some incredible effort here. Start this third. Kissinger gets in the paint. Floater! He'll answer!
This reminds me a lot of the Ron Colley game.
Yeah, you're right.
Good athletes, just back and forth.
This is what you practice for all season long, as there might be a turnover. There is. Sand just looked up quickly. He wanted to move before he caught it. We've all done that before.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's 37-31. The Birdcage getting a classic here through 2.5 quarters. Kale back in the game. He'll pull up in the paint. Good job defensively by Holland. And Barrier's going to run. Look at him go all the way again. This kid is on fire. 4-point game. Kale with a crossover. One-handed pass, and they're going to call a reach, and I think on Holland. And, you know, go ahead.
Very biased. I'm very biased on this. I thought both were fouls. And I thought the first one, when you take a guy's feet out from underneath him, I know that's kind of an NBA verbiage, but he has to be able to finish the shot. So that one, I think Kale was just going to wait and see how long they were going to go until they called it. But Kale's strong. He can play through those things.
They get it into Jacobson. Wide open. Max Parker. Bingo!
Oh, that's big.
That's the action. They're really right there. Not only are they being very aggressive with Kale with the on-ball defender, they're pulling the help side over, and that's what we've been waiting on. Marshbank versus Parker. Parker goes out to the line, and that creates an open shot.
And that's what we had talked about, the 6'6 senior who's shooting 45% from beyond the arc. Coach, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. One of the first things, I'm kind of new around here, and one of the first things I remember about watching this team was Max Parker going down and getting a dunk and turning around next possession, hitting a three out of the corner. I can't remember the game, but that's his versatility.
Yeah, that is such a great point. Versatility is a great word to describe Max Parker. Jordan, Coach Mose calls that quick timeout after the made bucket. What are we going to see here?
I don't know. I think it's good, though, because they needed the first bucket that Brooks got. They needed that. And then Kale missed. They scored in transition. And you don't want to say they ever need anything, but that was a really important three-point make. And so I think Mose wants to settle in and get the pace back and get a stop, a score, and then another stop. So didn't want to play this wavy run game. Let's settle in and figure out what we want to do.
And here comes some pressure out of that timeout for Coach Mose. 7-point lead. And Coach Schubert, what do you see down there?
Well, they're not going to use him. I thought they'd put him up in the middle, but we'll see.
And he's talking about Marshbanks there, the 7-footer. They keep him back.
Okay.
7-point game. Hovendick's going to go all the way. Nope, he's going to kick it out to Hansen. Man-to-man defense here, of course, for the Blue Jays. And here comes a steal by the talented senior Shepherd. He'll go up, float, and score.
He jumps from so far away, and he just he's a long jumper. He's not a high jumper. He's a long jumper.
You're not going to catch him when he gets going.
He's got that scholarship to Midland to go run track. And he shows his speed, and here's Barrier. He's showing his speed, and this kid is working it tonight. Another great bucket by Barrier. He's got 6 in the quarter. Here comes Shepherd again. Evan Shepherd, I just feel like he's had a great season, but I feel like the last 2 to 3 weeks, Shepherd's just been so tough.
In those last 2 possessions, there's been times in the year where Evan kind of picks his spots, but I kind of imagine him like a NASCAR driver there, just had his foot on the gas. Yep. Go, go, go. See a lane, take a lane.
Well, you know, he's a hurdler, and I used to be a hurdler's coach, and I think you did, right? You coached some hurdles?
Absolutely not. I've never stepped foot on a track, but I think,
none
Coach.
None of us up here have ever jumped over a hurdle.
Yeah.
But doesn't he have that attacking? To be a good hurdler, you have to attack every hurdle. It's more than just being fast. He attacks the rim.
That's such a good point. That's such a good philosophy.
It is, Coach. And the only thing he did wrong there is he just wasn't able to convert either of those free throws. So it stays a 7-point game with 3 minutes to go in the third. We've got a barn burner here tonight at the Birdcage in Ashland, Nebraska. As Hansen has Hollendeck in the game. And they'll work off the right side. Here comes Holland, skip pass to Hovendick. He can really shoot it, folks. And that time just a bit too hard. Kale Jacobson running out of there. Hollenbeck getting in his way, passes to Brooks. Here comes a 3-ball. Bingo!
What a big 3.
It's a big shot. Transition threes aren't our number 1 priority. It's not exactly what we want, but when you make it, it turns a good shot into a great shot.
You could see the eye of the Tiger in Brooks Kissinger that time. He wanted that basketball. He was ready to shoot. Back up to 10. It was a 4-point game. Marshbanks with a beautiful dish to Holland. He's fouled, and he flexes as well.
You know, if like, you know, we put labels on guys, like he's a shooter, he's a driver. If I had to put a label on Holland, I'd put he's just a gamer.
Yeah.
You know, just you know, what's he do? He just gets it done. Give him something to do. There he cuts passes to Marshbanks, cuts off it and finishes strong, gets the and one and hits the free throw.
Well, this isn't the first time anybody's probably doubled Marshbank.
Yeah.
You notice when he doubled him, the guy whose defender immediately doubles the post is supposed to cut off that post, and that's why he was wide open.
Well, I got to tell you guys, he's a 42% free throw shooter who's 3 for 3 tonight.
Gamer.
And,
Gamer.
I love kids like him. He's a junkyard
little
dog,
zone.
man. He plays that defense. There's that zone, and look out. The Blue Jays attack it beautifully and score. So that's why he's staying that man-to-man, huh?
Yeah.
Blue Jays say not my first rodeo.
No.
They've seen a lot of zone this year.
Back up to 9. Coach Nunnally has won everywhere he's gone. He's done a beautiful job here with Lincoln Christian with this team this year. He knows the X's and O's. And Hansen working off that left with Hollenbeck. Oh, they had a cutting Hollenbeck, but I don't think Hansen saw him. Pretty well defended, though, by Conklin. 1:23 to go in the third. It's a 9-point game. Lincoln Christian battling their guts out here tonight. It's number 1 ranked Ashland-Greenwood Blue Jays. Here comes the freshman. Sand kicks it out. Oh, Hansen wanted to, but Kale was just too tough to shoot over. Hollenbeck in trouble. We got a jump ball. Possession arrow, Big Blue.
You know, they're running, Coach, I don't know if you've seen this, but they're running, I don't know if that's Carolina offense, but they run a pick and roll on this side with the high post pop on the other side.
Yeah, definitely. Post-to-post action. I've seen them play a lot, and I've never seen them use both their big guys for post-to-post, but I love that stuff. I love that type of basketball.
1-3-1.
1-3-1. Coach calls it out. Kale in the paint. Finds his brother Dane. No look pass to Evan. He's doubled, and that's going to leave Kale. He'll attack, and he loses it on the way up. Hollenbeck with the board. Here comes the freshman Sam White. Great transition D. But here's Ovendick with the 3 that won't go. We got a whistle, though. And they're going to call that
Cougar.
on Cougar Consom. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, Cougs, they've been fighting on the inside there. Cougar's taking on a post-defense role, and, you know, at that time he just got a little bit out of bounds.
That's his first one, though.
Sand tries to find Hollenbeck. Almost lost a great job by Hollenbeck.
And Cougar got away with another one there.
They're going to try to make him go the other way. Look at that scoop shot. Won't go. But that is what Max Parker, he made him go that direction. And that's what Coach Most wanted.
He wants one here.
17 seconds to go. 9-point Blue Jay lead. Sub-district final. Ashland-Greenwood and Lincoln Christian. We got 8-7. 6 seconds. Here's a screen set for Kale. Finds Shepard. Good look at a 3. Oh, it won't go. And the rebound down to Sand. He'll put up a shot at the buzzer. Not bad. Almost got a photographer,
Just
too.
about took her out.
She's an athlete. You can tell. She was hustling.
Well, that's not her first basketball game.
Right.
She knows at the end you kind of got to watch your head a little bit.
Fellas.
Hey, you
this
guys
is
take
good
it.
stuff.
Elliot and I are going to look some scores up, so you guys take this away.
Well, Coach, I got to tell you, good stuff here tonight. Good stuff here tonight. This is so much fun. 47-38. This is what you work for in the summertime. This is why you get up early. This is why you go through weightlifting for games like this.
Right. And Coach Craven and I were talking after the Roncalli game, and our guys were pretty upset after that game, that Roncalli loss. Remember that?
That's right.
And I was talking to him in the South Gym there, in the other gym, and you know, I said, Coach, this game is going to serve us well. We need to play tough overtime games to get used to this, because when we get in that district and state and state tournament, we need to rely on being in games like this. And this is what we have, exact same type of game.
Well, you know it's a big game when Brad Jacobson is actually doing some of the cheering going on. He's got his fist pumping in the air.
He's been leading them all year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
It's great stuff.
Look at that.
There he goes. He's a little bit late on some of the motions, I know.
Right. Well, you know, he's not as young as he used to be.
Well, the student body in full throat tonight. We got a fun one as fourth quarter just started. 9-point lead. And Lincoln Christian with the ball. Boy, you got to respect the Crusaders. They have fought and fought tonight, and they're not done. Marshbanks Gonna try to work to his right side, working hard against Parker. He muscled his way in there. 7-point game. Here comes Conza. Look at Kissinger. Kissinger, right baseline drive. He's lethal, but he's just a little short to the rim. And there's a 3-on-2 running with Sam. What will the freshman do? He's going to take it himself, won't go. Oh, he might have wanted to give that up to Holland, but now we got a 3-on-1 for the Blue Jays. It's Max. He'll take the right-handed layup.
Oh, had a little moment there. I thought Max wasn't going to get that done, but
we had 2 guys out on the break.
Yeah, good rebounding by both teams. Good running by both teams.
Back to 9. Sam, the freshman, kicks it out. Here's Barrier for 3. Great rotation, but it won't go.
One shot again, one and done.
Yep.
Kale, sprinting, kicks it out. Cougar, left open. Bingo!
Boy, that's big.
Yeah.
And there's a timeout by Coach Nunley.
And there's so much game left, but like just for the sake of momentum with 6 minutes left, that's huge.
Yeah, because they got that down to 7.
That's right.
And,
well, it was a 4-point game at one point in the third quarter.
Right. But in this fourth quarter, knocked it down to 7, then he can come back, now we're at 12.
And talk about good coaching, that's a great timeout from Nunley.
Yeah.
Because, they've been doing so much offensively. Blue Jays are averaging 38 points, allowing 38 points a game, and they're already at 40.
Yeah.
So it's a good timeout, get the boys back on track from the Crusaders.
Well, I'll tell you, you look at Barrier's shot as well. I thought that thing was down.
Yeah.
It looked good, just a game of inches as we know. Good-looking shot, just couldn't get it to fall.
And it's interesting to watch the bench of the opposing team. When they're good shooters shoot, their bench was up like they expected that to go. When I shot in high school, nobody stood up. They didn't do anything.
Coach, same thing with me. I had the same problem.
They're just a little shocked maybe that I shot it, but called timeout right away.
You guys were too good as shooters. It was just old news by then. It's like he's going to make it.
Very good point. Very good point.
Oh, I got to tell you, this Lincoln Christian team, they may have 8 losses, fellas, but if you look at who has beaten them, other than South Sioux City, they've gotten beat by a few Class B teams and some excellent C1, C2 teams having fantastic years. So very misleading is their record. And here's Barrier, going to get in the paint, splits a double team and another double team. And I'm telling you, there's a reason this kid is the leading scorer for Lincoln Christian.
Yeah, he's a gamer as well. He's getting it done when it counts, and that's right now.
So impressed with him. Here's Max. They'll get in the paint. Parker will kick it out. Over to Cale Jacobson. Cale, pick and roll. Back to Cougar. Left-handed layup.
What a pass.
And what a job by Cougar to really protect that shot with his right side of his body against the 7-footer.
Yeah, beautiful little pocket pass from Cale, getting Cougar on his left side. He's a lefty, so that's a great move knowing his strengths.
12-point lead. Marshbank's working hard. He tries that right side. He got it to go.
It really is a game. Can Marshbank just get to a spot he feels comfortable about and elevate over Max? That just looked really comfortable.
Well, credit Parker. I mean, he's playing good D, but Marshbanks is just tough. And there's a turnover by Jacobson. Running the other way is Hansen. Comes across the timeline. And there's a pass because it's stolen by Brooks. No. Brooks about got it. I mean to tell you, Brooks Kissinger, what a defensive player he is, and we know he can score, but man, can he play deep. Marshbanks, they got sand free. Great job by Cale to block it though, and it went out of bounds off the sand. That's how quick Jacobson is because Sam was wide open momentarily.
That was great help defense because he rotated over on that. That wasn't his guy.
He's in a little bit of foul trouble. He's managed it well, but good job staying on his feet and kind of anticipating the pump.
Crossover by Cale. He's attacking Holland, and he'll get the bucket. And Cale is in his own.
What a play.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to be thankful for what we're getting to watch. It's good defense. You're getting Cale going, but, man, he's a special player, and it's been a pleasure watching him all year.
We call him the gym rat. Because he's grown up living in a gym, and he'll get the free throw. 57-44, big moment now coming up for Lincoln Christian. They can't let this thing slip away here with 5:14 to go in the fourth. And Coach Nunley, and Coach Hubert, you've been here. You've been in these spots. What's Coach Nunnally trying to do to rally the troops?
Well, right now, you got to do more than just match them for points, obviously, because otherwise you lose by 13. You can't just match them. So, I think they're going to need some threes. They might be able to give up a 2 on a fast break, but you got to get threes and generate something from their defense. So they've got to attack. There's time, but there's a point in the ball game when you tell your guys, it's now or never. We got to get things rolling here.
And are we at that point right now, 5:14 to go?
I feel like that. It's time to get rolling if you're them. If you're going to get back in this, you got to do it now.
Here we go. Let's see how they respond out of the timeout. Barrier, he's responded tonight. What a game he's played. He's got it off the left elbow. He'll get down on the block. He's going to float it up and hit the back of the backboard. And Max comes out of there with it. Cougar slow to get up. Here comes Jacobson. Kale, crossover. Look at that move. And he's fouled. He'll go to the line. And he ends up running into a photographer. I think that's...
It's Giselle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Strive student All-American down there getting some footage. Yeah, she's on the front line. She's got boots on the ground.
Well, Kale, of course, a classmate of hers, and gave her a little pat on the back as she got run into. Here's a free throw, up and good.
I tell you, we've got an all-star crew of photographers. We got a media student. We've got a journalism student. We've got the girl from Conestoga, Danny. She came down. She's going Northwest next year. And then we got Susie Nelson.
And Susie Nelson of the Ashland Gazette. She has just been great all of the career here. We love watching her stuff in the paper. And it's a 15-point lead. And here comes Holland, and it's stolen. And here's a long out to Brooks Kissinger. And he took an extra step to travel. Had to, otherwise he was going to go out of bounds. So he had no other choice but to take that step.
And that's just one, as you bobble it, you try to still continue to make the play, and Evan didn't want to get it stolen. He let him a little bit. Sometimes when you get steals and you miss those opportunities, they don't hurt as bad as like not scoring on offensive possession.
Here comes Hansen, almost another turnover. Out of bounds there.
There is no let up in these Blue Jays on defense. They are jumping passing lanes. They're double teaming the ball.
You know, now's the time. Guys are tired. Maybe the focus isn't going. We used to call it Animal Planet.
There he is. I got to tell you, Coach Mose loves this pressure, this intensity it wears on teams. And Sand, he goes hard, can't get it. He got his own rebound, though, dumps it off. Ball fake by Barrier. Oh, a rare miss by him. Here's the putback in the bucket. You know, Max keeps looking over to Coach Mose. And I have to tell you, Coach Mose can't be upset with him. Look, Marshbanks has just been good. Max is defending well.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, objective. Jordan, I don't think that's a foul. I thought Max swung, and he swung really hard, but
I thought the hand was on
on the ball.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the guy was blocked a little bit. I don't know how many fouls it is on Max, but I don't love that one.
So Jacobson will work off the left side to his brother Dane.
Coach, do you take a little air out of it here or not?
I don't know if that's Moses' style. They're playing some pressure D. I mean, I think you get a great shot.
And here's Dane for one.
Oh! No, that'll take the air out of it.
I would call that a good shot, but when you make it, it turns into a great shot. So good coaching by Mose, whatever he told him.
That student section's getting fired up over there.
They're making some noise tonight. 15-point Blue Jay lead is Kale trying to pickpocket Hansen. He commits a foul.
Is that 4?
I believe so.
That's silly.
3.
Oh, that's great foul, Kale.
Yeah.
Great foul.
Oh, there we go. Yes, just 3.
Well, you know, I think so. Kale's feeding off the emotion, maybe a little blood in the water. Game's far from done, but you know he kind of maybe was looking for something to get the crowd into it. And so I would have hated to see that be Kale's 4th, but 3rd, I'm fine with it.
62-47. Lincoln Christian came into this one 17th in power points. So the way into state, they've got to win and keep playing and play a district final. Blue Jays 2nd in power points as of tonight. Here comes Barrier. Look at the move. And to beat Brooks Kissinger is not easy, and he gets a layup.
He's just under control when he gets to the spot, and then he kind of pops back with a dribble pump. I mean, he gets to his spot so well.
Here's Brooks, looks inside. We're under 3 minutes to go. It's a 13-point Blue Jay lead. Shepard working. He's fouled by Hansen, but it'll be on the floor, but it should be a 1-and-1 opportunity for Evan.
Coach, you asked if they take the air out of it. Sometimes, I think Mose is more of let's play at our pace. Let's read the pace. If they're up and the spacing isn't there, let's attack.
Especially if you're in the one-on-one.
Yeah, and if they're going to play back, make them come to you, make them create lanes.
Right, because they've got to come out.
Yeah, and so you got a couple seconds, take it, but
no, I like that.
No matter what, get a great shot.
Right.
And the last 2 possessions, I would say Daines is a good shot. Naked, it's a great shot. And Evan took a good shot there.
Exactly.
Evan took a great shot there, Kind of a 3-2-1 type deal.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Bad shot, good shot, great shot.
And Shepard now 5 of 8 on the night from the line, 64-49. Folks, you listen to these 2 guys, you will get, I mentioned this the other day, you'll get your basketball PhD. They know what they're talking about. Here's a whistle and a travel on sand, and the freshman, you can see it's wearing on him a little bit.
And now we got full court pressure.
I like Sand a lot.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
He's a
he wants to
really good
fight.
player.
He wants to fight, and he's highly skilled. He's explosive.
Yeah, he's going to be so much fun to watch over the next
Look at
3
Kane.
years.
Yep. Helping him up. Great sportsmanship by both teams out here.
Yeah, it's been really impressive with these teams tonight. And Hansen will foul out of the game, the 5'9" senior. What a career. And he gets a big-time hug from Coach Nunnally. This Hansen does it all. He averages 4.5 points a game, but he has 4.1 assists a game. He has a ton of steals on the season. I believe he leads their team in steals. So he's one of those guys that just does it all for Lincoln Christian.
Plays with a lot of heart.
Cale Jacobson hits the front to make it 65-49. By the way, big shout out to Elliot Gonson tonight, working our technicals for us. He's a sophomore here at Ashland-Greenwood. What a job he's done keeping the board rolling tonight. Back the other way they come. 17-point game. Stan will dump it off the barrier. Barrier getting in the paint. Step through, left-handed layup, a little short. Got his own rebound though, working against Cale, and he scores. And that's 2 buckets in a row for Barrier against Brooks Kissinger and Cale Jacobson. And that is something I would retire on if I hit 2 buckets in a row against those guys.
He's not 6 foot, is he?
No, well, they've got him listed as a 6-foot senior.
Yeah. And you're going against 6'3" guys, 6'4" guys.
Yeah, and like when I was in middle school, Beatrice had this culture of like creating 5'10" posts that could work in Class B. And I just remember that, and like I never figured it out, but like just how guys operate, he does that so well. He gets to his spot, and then it's just footwork. He had Cale jumping, and Cale has 3 fouls and is a great defender, so he's got to be deceptive.
Be interested to see if he's going to go on and try to play somewhere after high school ball. Well, let's just start to look this through. Now, for folks that don't know, you guys can walk it through. If let's say Ashland-Greenwood is able to hold on and win, they have it so that if you play an opponent more than 150 miles away, you got to meet somewhere, I guess, in the middle or something like that.
Neutral.
If they're within 150 miles, you're host. So Ashland could be hosting if they can hold on and win. Lincoln Christian most likely would be traveling somewhere if they can come back and get this victory.
Needs a win. Lincoln Christian needs a win. We'll see. A lot of games going on. It depends on how many upsets happen tonight.
And there's bodies on the floor. We got a whistle. Officials talk it over, and that's what a good crew does. And there's a timeout. They were able to call that timeout quickly. And, man, a lot of games tonight. And, Jordan, I don't know if you've got any updates, but go ahead.
Have you seen the movie Rain Man?
Yes, I have.
Well, Coach Wallman is like Rain Man. I went to his room the other day. He's got calculation, looked like calculus.
All over the board.
I had no idea what it meant.
I think everyone's on the same page. If you try to figure PowerPoints, you're a psycho.
Right.
But, I love it, and I accept it.
Yeah.
So, really, Tim, what we come down to is C18, which is O'Neill and Pierce. They were 49-54. O'Neill was ahead. Central City, Centennial, Wood River, Adams Central, really those upset games. If one upset happens and Clarkson-Lehigh wins, Leap wins, we play them.
Well, here comes a 3 out of there by Hovind Dick, but a steal by Barrier. I can't say enough good things about this kid.
We better hold on to our lunch right here and stop talking about stuff like that.
Here we go. Got 156. Lincoln Christian says we're not done. They are battling and fighting tonight.
Ogallala was up on Gordon Rushville. That's his 8-6 matchup out in Sheridan, Nebraska. Kearney Catholic up big over Minden. Wood River was up 47-39 over Adams Central.
And you said that Wood River game's a game to keep an eye on, right?
Yeah, that'd be an upset potential, but it looks like Wood River's going to take care of business there.
Here we go, back the other way. As Marshbank's down the block. Turn around to the inside. He'll score.
11-point game.
1:39. Clock continuing to run, though. As they couldn't find the basketball, that full court pressure. Brooks Kissinger with it. Runs out of there with it. Will they attack? No. Got an 11-point lead. They're going to hold on.
They're fouling the heck
We
out of
got
them.
a whistle as that will send Kissinger to the line.
Hey, take a deep breath.
Yeah. No, I like
Get a
being
little
the double
nervous there,
bonus.
fellas. Yeah.
That's nice.
I don't know if we get nervous, but it's like, you know, it hits a point when being cute needs to have a hard conversation with just being tough and owning up and keeping that ball.
So Brooks will get 2 free throws here. Coach, you mentioned it. 10th team foul on Lincoln Christian, and the free throw is up and good.
This is when it matters.
Yeah.
Coach Hubert, I know you preach that. Sorry, not to cut you off. That's a huge staple of your program is those late game free throws.
No, I'm a big believer in that. And the double bonus helps.
Brooks gets
Okay.
1 of 2. He's 1 of 4 on these last 4 free throws. It's a 12-point lead. Here comes Lincoln Christian, and it'll be Sand for a 3, and he won't get it to go. Tipped around. Max Parker with it. And here comes Cale Jacobson running. One-handed pass to Brooks, and Brooks just alertly stops. As the Blue Jays are going to be happy to go to the line and be shooting some free throws.
Yeah.
Jordan, you had a chuckle over there. What did you see?
Nothing that I want to say on air.
Oh,
I just the way that Brooks was fighting for his life and was just giving me anxiety. Then Cale gets bumped. It's good officiating, but I'm just like, oh, okay, all right, thank you.
Now, I thought you said you didn't want to say that on air, and then you just confessed to all of that there. But that was good.
Yeah, I'm not good at keeping secrets, Tim. I'm an open book.
Cale Jacobson hits that first free throw. It's a 13-point Blue Jay lead with 1:01 to go.
I think that's just a window to give myself a little more time to think about how to say it nicely.
Right.
Second one rolls around, and the gym rat knocks them both down. We're under a minute to go. 14-point Big Blue lead. Spin move by Sam. Finger roll by Sam. Wow, and that is why we call him a sensational freshman, because that was impressive.
Yeah.
And so many guys can use that spin move. Like Cougar Moves uses a spin move well and then elevates and finishes. He's getting to the end of his spin and then he's exploding up to the rim. So explosive player means highly skilled, and that's a nice finish off the backboard.
Jordan, you were reeling through some scores there. Any other scores tonight from C1?
You know, so really what we're looking for Ashland is how many upsets happen tonight. So at the half, West Point Beamer was up over Wayne 21-7. Wayne is a 4 seed. West Point Beamer would be an upset.
Now, wait a minute. That was a halftime score, 21-7?
Yeah, 21-17.
17.
Yeah,
okay,
excuse
all
me.
right.
Concordia beat Calhoun big. Calhoun sticks around. They'll be the 8 or the 9 seed. Kearney Catholic up big. They'll be the 3 seed. Ogallala over Gordon Rushville. That doesn't really affect us. They were up 33-21. Ogallala wasn't the half. Wood River over Adams Central. Milford Malcolm. I can't remember what we said that one was. We'll know it after. Probably when the game's over. I'm going to go do PowerPoints if you guys want to handle the post game. See if I can't get it done while we're still on air.
You bet. I appreciate that, partner. So here we go. We got a whistle in the back court, and Cale Jacobson will go to the line and shoot a couple of free throws.
I got to go see the big board.
Yeah.
Brad Jacobson's kind of helped me out a little bit, and he's a wealth of knowledge, but we think we got this thing just south of figured out.
Right.
And Grant Hansen, that was a huge tweet that he had. If he's listening, announcing broadcasting star Grant Hansen, his tweet was amazing.
Yeah, Grant Hansen, of course, University of Nebraska kid that has done a great job, and he put out a tweet. Had all the winners, had some upset possibilities in there, racked the numbers. This is such a fun time of year when you start racking the numbers, as Cale will hit both of them. And we're now under 50 seconds. And it's a 14-point game as Herrera has it down in the corner. Sand will dribble it off the foot of Brooks Kissinger, bodies, and here comes Cale. Will he rattle that rim? Yes, sir! Oh, it was a thunderous two-handed dunk by Cale Jacobson. Barrier can't get it to go. And now here comes Cougar. And we got a whistle and a foul. And Conzum will go to the line. And I don't know how many jams he's had this year, but that was impressive.
Yeah.
A little cherry on top, little gift. Cale's offered so much to the program. Hey, and we just want to make sure we give a huge shout out to Lincoln Christian, because there's never a time during this game that I wasn't on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, they have a real nice ball club.
Coach Nunnally does such a great job. I've really enjoyed getting to know him.
And he's giving Herrera a hug on the sideline. This is a tough moment for you coaches. I know, Coach, it's tough. He gives Marshbank a big, long hug. You can imagine they've all been through a lot. And these are these moments. Here's the free throw by Cougar. The second one misses. That, Coach, you can speak to this. These are hard moments.
Yeah, when you've got seniors who just played their last ball game, it really hurts. It hurts to see them go.
Got a lot of tears.
I mean, it's hard with the other kids too for the season, but you got them back.
And here come the Blue Jays. Zimmerman in there, Walker Grell. There's Luke Clark. Blue Jays going to hold on to it with a 17-point lead. Just take it out. Dawson Teese and Darren Hill. And the Blue Jays will go on to play in the district finals with this 74-57 win over an absolutely gutsy Lincoln Christian Crusader team.
Are you guys okay if I go do PowerPoints?
Yeah. Go do
okay.
some PowerPoints.
You want me to grab a player?
That would be great.
Okay. I'm on it.
You just choose it. And
okay.
Oh, Coach, I'm telling you what, this was a lot of fun. It was raucous in here tonight. It was loud. It was crazy. Lincoln Christian came in here ready to play some basketball. They challenged the Big Blue. And your thoughts on what really turned the tide for Ashland-Greenwood tonight?
Well, one thing that kind of enters my mind is that Ashland-Greenwood earned the right to play at home. That is huge. Can you imagine on the road against a tough team like that? It could have been a little different, a little tighter, but we playing at home in front of your crowd and not having to travel and that type of thing is big, and our guys certainly earned that all season long.
And, thank you very much. You guys have a good team. Absolutely, guys. Thanks. Thank you. A lot of class from the Lincoln Christian fans. They were terrific tonight, by the way. We sit oftentimes in the opposition, and, there were some tough calls against them tonight. Yeah, you didn't hear their fans lose their minds.
No.
And it was just really appropriate as you hear the Blue Jays singing the fight song to the student body. It's great seeing you guys. What a nice win for the Blue Jays tonight, because this Lincoln Christian team, again, that 8-loss record, very deceiving.
Yeah.
Coach, I wanted to mention this on the air. They beat Archbishop Bergen, which was a really nice win for them, but their losses, Grand Island Central Catholic, I think they're like 21-3. Hastings St. Cecilia, rated very high in Class C2. They're around the same record. Concordia twice. Once they almost beat Concordia. In Kearney Catholic, they lost to them. And then in Class B, they lost to Waverly. They lost to Bennington. And really the head-scratcher losing to South Sioux City, that was probably a game they'd like back. But I mean to tell you that those are 8 losses to some excellent basketball teams.
Yeah, you as a coach, you really have to be careful trying to judge another team on their record. That is not a good idea. So I'm by watching how intense our guys played, you could tell Coach Mose was not overlooking this team. They 8 losses.
8 losses, absolutely. 15-8 coming in tonight.
Yeah. And so, he's been preaching to his guys that you cannot look at a team like that and count their losses and think it's going to be easy.
Well, we're going to have Coach Mose on here. We may have Coach Craven, and we'll have one of the Blue Jay players on as well. But in the meantime, I want to swing it over to Elliot Gosson, our sensational sophomore who was running the board tonight. Elliot, this crowd tonight was as crazy as I've heard it. It was as loud as I've heard it. You're in the student body all day long. Tell us a little bit about what was being discussed by your colleagues, your fellow students, to come in with this atmosphere tonight.
I mean, for a game that would be like this intense and to come down as close as it was for this first half, everyone was super calm. You even talk to fans, you talk to players, they're all like, yeah, we probably got this one. And then Lincoln Christian really did a good job of showing up early.
Good. Well, great point, Elliot. Well, we're being asked here by our super fan about how many Kale had tonight. Let's see. He had 2, 4,
Coach
6,
Daniels.
7. Absolutely, Coach Daniels. 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 26. I have him for 28.
Wow.
So, absolutely, Coach. It was great seeing you. And boy, you've got a great grandson who's going to go on to do some wonderful things. Yeah, it was so fun. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure he will.
Good seeing you. Elliot, one other quick question before we swing it back to Coach Hubert. Tell us a little bit about these themes and the preparation that goes into the student body, because, boy, they take a lot of time to make sure. Tonight was the blue theme. Tell me how this all comes together.
I think it's more mainly from the senior class who have taken the reins. Abby Fisher, someone who's pretty sure has been in with this tribe, but she takes the reins, puts it all, usually figures it out, puts it on the Instagram, and then goes from there. Just kind of and everyone gets it. Everyone makes sure to wear whatever theme it is, and if you're not, go to the back, and everyone's got to be loud.
I like it. There's rules, there's standards in the student body. Here's a guy with a ton of standards. That's Mark Adele. Mark, what do those numbers look like?
Well, I was right. They did not shoot 31% in the second half. We continued our hot shooting. Didn't rebound as well. We were 24 of 41 for 59% for the game. And that was key right there, and we warmed up from 3. In the second half, we were 4 of 7, 6 of 14 for the game, and you'll take that, 43%.
You bet.
Shooting 40% from 3 is like shooting 60% from 2.
Right.
Free throws, we warmed up there too in the fourth quarter. 20 of 32 for the game. We were 7 of 16 at one point.
Yeah. Wow.
So we made them down the stretch, 63%. They were 8 of 9, 89%, but we didn't, we seem to play defense pretty well without fouling. I think some of our opponents would say we don't get called for fouling.
Of course they would.
But anyhow, that's how it shook off. They beat us on the boards in the second half. They got 14 rebounds to our 8. But for the game, they had 25, we had 23. They had 8 offensive, we had 4 offensive. That's what kept them in the game, was their offensive rebounding in the second half. That and the fact that we had missed some free throws the first 3 quarters. But I can't say enough, well, turnovers-wise, they turned it over 13 times. Against a team like us, really that's not too bad. We turned it over 9. Can't say enough about Easton Marshbank and Ethan Barrier. Those 2 guys really deserve to be in the state tournament. It's a shame they can't be. And, the Blue Jays, you've heard the cliche a lot, the game was closer than the score indicated. It is definitely true in this one. Not sure who will play. I think we'll be a number 2 seed. Should be here probably.
Yeah, you know what? Jordan Wallman is racking the numbers as we speak, Mark. We're hoping to maybe have an update before we go off air here where we will be seated and who we could potentially play.
I can't imagine they'll be much tougher than Lincoln Christian, though. They're a good team.
Yeah, they're an excellent team.
With Marshbanks especially.
They earned our respect without a doubt. And Barrier and Marshbanks, by the way, scored 39 between the 2 of them, Mark. So
well, they took over in the game. They tried in their worst way to win it for them.
Yeah, they did. Well, Mark, here's your buddy Tyler Craven.
Tyler? By the way, the last time we won the district, or won sub-districts, we beat Lincoln Christian to do it.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. Very good. The historian.
True.
No, he's got a mic there, Mark, but thanks you so much. And thanks for the numbers, partner. We appreciate it. Well, Tyler, man alive. First off, let's just talk about atmosphere. This game started, and it was nuts. Tell me a little bit about how happy you were to get to see your team to play in an atmosphere like this tonight.
Yeah, we're really grateful. Coach always tells them in the locker room, you put yourself in this position. You have, pressure comes with privilege, right? You've been privileged to win a lot of games and to play in an environment where people want to watch you. and so it's been really good.
Well, we were just talking before I gave you over here to Coach Huber. We were just talking about Marshbanks, the 7-footer, and Ethan Barrier, who scored 19 tonight. It was terrific. Early on in that game, it's a seesaw battle. We get an early lead, they take it, we take it back, and it stays close. What were some things that they were doing that were causing you problems tonight?
Yeah, I think offensively they were playing us. Their D was really good against our O for the first couple possessions. They were making us shoot tough ones over Marshbanks contested, and it didn't go in. And then I think on the other end, they were really attacking our guards. They got Kale 2 fouls early, smart by them. They were going to Marshbanks in the paint, and he was making those right-handed hooks.
A lot of times with the 7-footer, you're worried about as a coach, you're worried about the immediate post up and the post feed. How worried were you about keeping him off, getting the second and third shot, keeping him off the offensive boards?
Yeah, that's huge, absolutely huge. We talked all the time, if it's in on zero or a shot in the paint, you have to leave the perimeter and get down there, get your butt to the paint and help us rebound.
Right.
I thought in the first half we had a bunch where we kind of had it, fumbled it, Marshbanks got it, put it in, or we fouled him for an and one. I just didn't think we did a great job in the first half getting those loose balls and winning that.
Now, they cut it to 4 in the third quarter. I mean, they make a big run, and we've been giving them a ton of credit tonight. I think they earned our respect. I know they certainly had your respect coming into this game. But, again, how did they claw back in, and what did you guys do to adjust to that?
Yeah, I think they just kept attacking. They never backed down from our D, and to be honest, I don't think we were great defensively tonight, but that's because it's credit to them, not just on our end.
To your point on that, I just want to jump in.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this. I thought Max played good defense on Marshbanks most of the night, but he was tough.
No, we came into it saying, Marshbanks is going to get his. He's 7 foot, Max, you're 6'6". That's biological. That's not physical or mental or anything like that. So, but can we, we kind of turned our back. Marshbanks got a dump down cut. We went for a steal. Number 1 got an and one at the rim. So just kind of little stuff like that kind of cut it to 4 there, and we just kind of had to lock in and play some D.
Well, here you go, and Coach, you jump in here anytime if you've got something here. But now that second step happens where we sit back and we wait to find out. Jordan Wallman's right now he's got the big board going in his room, trying to rack the numbers to see who he just might play and where. So, how much fun is this for you, though? I know there's a lot of anticipation. We don't have the answers. But to wait, to get the numbers racked, to find out where you play, it's got to be I'm sure it's a little stressful, but I got to imagine it's also a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think our coaching staff, wants to be in there and wants to grind, but it's good for us to take a step back and just kind of soak it in. Not oftentimes do you have this much talent, this many guys that love basketball, these guys that want to work hard, and then a community that backs them. We understand we're pretty fortunate. We're pretty grateful for that.
Without a doubt. Coach, you have anything else?
Well, we were just talking earlier, Coach, that you guys have earned this right. You've earned this privilege. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to worry about where you're going because you're guaranteed playing at home, correct?
If it's within 180 miles, sounds like maybe Minden, which is 159. So,
hey, there you go.
Now that's according to Jordan Wallman. Do you trust his numbers?
Well, he's a history guy, not a math guy, so no.
If it were Nate Tonjes, I'd feel really comfortable. Here he comes.
Brad,
he's got to defend himself.
Brad had a spreadsheet that had all the scores, if they win, if they lose. So it was just a matter of circling the winners. And so no upsets tonight. Every higher seed won. So basically, we take the lowest seed or the lowest point total besides Clarkson.
Yep.
Clarkson's a 16, Minden's a 15.
All right. So Minden would
probably wrong. Probably wrong.
Yeah. Nothing official here, folks. We don't want you to
don't tweet
to get your hotel reservations here in Ashland yet if you're from Minden.
If you tweet it, tag Jordan Wallman.
We'll make sure we give him the credit, and if it's wrong, then he'll get all the calls. Well, listen, Coach, this has been so much fun. I mean, when you have this field like this, that you could play a number of different teams, is everybody on huddle? Does that allow you a chance to break down film, or is not everyone on huddle and you have to work hard to do some scouting?
We'll be up late getting stuff. Yeah, but I think everybody's on huddle for the most part.
And that's the one thing I want to compliment you on. Just the other night on Tuesday, I went in there. You guys just won earlier, then you came out and watched the second game, and you and Jake Mose were in there absolutely going over all kinds of film. You had one laptop, he had one laptop, you're scribbling notes. I don't know that people always know how much time that goes into it, so talk a little bit about all that extra work that maybe parents and fans don't see.
Yeah, it's just if we're going to ask our players in the summer to come in after weights, to come in on and shoot on their own time, whenever that is, do skill work. If we're going to ask them to put in all that extra devotion to the sport, then we better be doing it ourselves, or that's kind of fake. So I think that's just kind of where it stems from and why we do it.
Well, congratulations on a great win. We'll see you in the finals.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck,
our
Coach.
guys were great tonight. So.
Yeah, they sure were. And speaking of being great tonight, Coach Jake Mose, he was as rock solid with the X's and O's tonight. You guys get the victory here. You pull away at the end, Coach. But listen, this thing was anything but easy. Toughest game that you'd been in a while. What made Lincoln Christian so difficult tonight from your perspective?
They're pretty good.
Right.
That's the answer you want, right?
Drilling down
Okay. We'll start with the basics. Let's start on the inside. Whenever you have a kid that size and can move and run up and down the court and has some really good skills around the basket and can block shots, that changes your offense and defense a little bit. And then their guards, they're super aggressive. They play strong. They're physical. And they get in the lane well, as we saw tonight. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why they've found success and why they gave us some trouble, is because they're a good basketball team.
Well, Ethan Barrier was terrific tonight. We're going to talk a lot about some things that we did, but I just want you to take that opportunity to talk. We talked a lot about Marshbanks already with Coach Craven. Talk about Ethan Barrier, because, man, he was absolutely fantastic tonight.
I think, I'll repeat, they just play so strong. They get in the lane and they play off 2 feet. They're under control. They get to their strong hand. They're good at creating contact and still finishing, and so they just kind of know what they're doing in there, those couple guards. And we let them get in there probably a little too much, but with the big, you can only provide so much help. And so those guards kind of know that when they get in the lane there, if someone helps, there's going to be a dump-down dunk. And so they did a good job of getting in there and finishing tonight, definitely.
One more question. I'm going to give it off to Coach Hubert. Coming into this game, I didn't know if Lincoln Christian would go man, if they'd go zone. When they came out man, I imagine you guys had a lot of different plans for whatever it is they were going to do. So when that happened, what were some of the things that you guys wanted to make sure you executed when you saw man-to-man?
First off, we wanted to get in the lane and finish. We weren't going to shy away from the big guy, and we just wanted to do it intelligently. But we wanted to go at him and show that we're not going to adjust our game for you. Then we wanted inside-outside shots, and those didn't really fall tonight, which is fine. But I thought our guys just did a really good job of playing strong, attacking the basket, and taking the fight to them when they were on defense. Because if you get a little passive, and then when they make their runs, you don't know what to do and you get a little hesitant. But when you're the aggressor and aggressive, they made a run and we just went right back and punched them in the mouth. That was good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved the tenacity that we showed tonight. And by the way, Coach, we have you for 6 of 14 at 43% from 3. Didn't shoot real well in that first half. I don't know if that's what you got.
I didn't. I have a short-term memory, and sometimes I only remember the bad stuff. So the first half, I think we were 2 of 7.
That's right.
And so 4 of 7, and there was some timely threes. Cougar hits a 3. I think Dane hits a 3 in the corner, and there was a couple others, obviously. But they were just timely because it was 6, it was 8, it was 4, it was close, and then we kind of went boom, boom, boom there and got it extended the way we wanted it.
Yeah, well, I know Coach Schubert is chomping at the bit here. Coach, what do you have?
Well, a long time ago, my college coach told us, and I never really thought about this way, but in a game, there's unlimited number of turnovers, unlimited number of points, whatever, but there's only so many rebounds. The more you get, the less they get. How concerned were you, A, about the second shots and the rebounds by them, and B, how do you box a guy like that out? Do you face guard? What do you?
Well, we didn't really.
You're still trying to figure that out.
And then when we did, we both grabbed the rebound and went out of bounds. But yeah, you're right. Rebounding was going to be big for us on both ends. I thought we needed to rebound offensively as much as anything because we've done a good job of that lately, and that gives us extra possessions. And sometimes they rely on the big to just go get it.
Right.
And so we wanted to crash the boards. I don't know that we got a ton of them. I felt that we did an okay job boxing him out and keeping him off the boards, but he seemed to get every loose rebound when they were tipped.
Right.
When they you kind of bump it, when it hits the floor and bounces around, when someone strips it from someone. We didn't get any of those, and I think he got 3 or 4 and 1s because he came up with it. Maybe it's that reach, those long arms, right? Maybe he grabs it, and then he just kind of scored it, and we fouled him. So, that was a concern. I don't think we did a terrible job. I would have just liked to have won those 50-50 rebounds.
Right. Well, Coach, you're in this second season here. You're going to be in the district finals. There are going to be some late nights, and you're going to burn the midnight oil here to break down some film. Talk about what's going to transpire for you over the next 24 hours. And no matter who we play, do we have an idea of when that game would be?
Not really. Probably Saturday, but we have to wait till everything kind of comes out, who you play, and kind of organize that. Everyone's trying to get, who you play, and then once you do that, you can get your film, and you can break it down as quick as you want. If you're playing Saturday, what are you going to do? Right. So it's one day of preparation. We're going to be us. We feel like being us leads to success, so we're going to stay aggressive on offense and defense. We're going to bring the fight to them, whoever it is, and we're just going to try and do what we do. And so you come up and you make your tweaks in your game plan, figure out what works best for you against the opponent, and go from there.
We're going to have Cale Jacobson here in just a second, but one last question for you, Coach. Coach, do you have anything else?
No,
One last question. I listened to this thing called A Pen and a Napkin, a podcast, the other day, and one of the things that you said on that interview was when you looked a few years back, you really scouted all the best teams, and you just saw one thing they had in common, which was just unbelievable, unrelenting defensive pressure. And you've put that into play, into your system. Talk a little bit about, like tonight, I just felt like Sam, the freshman, who was terrific, it really wore on him, and it really wore him down. And how happy have you been all season, and particularly tonight, with that kind of unrelenting defensive pressure?
Yeah, when you take some lumps early, during your career, you're like, hey, what are they doing that they're beating us by 40 and have a running clock in the third period? And so, that's just what I remember. I wrote it down on my board. I look at it about every day over the last, 5 or 6 years of just, pressure, right? How can you make the opponent uncomfortable without fouling, without getting beat, and make them do abnormal things that they don't want to do? And we've done that with our press. We've done it with some traps in the half court. We've done it with just man-to-man pressure. You have to have the kids to do it. The kids have to be athletic. They got to be strong. They got to be smart. They got to be willing to work. They got to be willing to fly around for 32 minutes. And I think we're just fortunate enough that our kids are at their best when they're doing that. Sometimes maybe you try it and it's not really you. We've been just extremely lucky that we've tried some things and they catch on. They do it well. They work out the kinks, and they're at their best when they're flying around, when they're trapping, when they're putting pressure on them, and when they're doing those things. So, no coach is a genius, and there's a million ways to skin the cat. But from what I saw from some of those successful teams, we obviously tried to steal what they did and make it our own.
Well, you should be very proud of what you've done, and cannot wait to watch this district finals. Great job, and congratulations, and let's keep this baby rolling, huh?
Sounds good to me.
Hey,
thanks for calling the game, guys. Thank you.
What a job he's been doing. And now we get in Cale Jacobson. You talk about unrelenting defensive pressure. This guy's a big part of it. I know he's got some guys around him that are as well. But Cale, before we get to your offensive output and your explosion tonight here, let's talk just a little bit about the defensive pressure you guys had tonight. How did that work in your favor, particularly as the game wore on late in that third quarter, fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think we just, transition is where we're at our best, and that starts in the defensive end for us. So just putting constant ball pressure on and off the ball is something we talk about a lot. And that leads to transition, and ultimately it makes guys tired towards the end of the game. It's not fun to bring it up 94 feet with the guy in your face for the whole night. So,
one more question here before I turn it over to Coach Huber. But, you got to take, you're going to play some high-level college basketball. You got a taste of that tonight going up against a 7-footer. And there were a couple times where he swatted you out of there.
He got me a couple, yeah.
But you got him plenty of times tonight, too. He's a terrific kid and a terrific player. Just talk about that experience, because you guys haven't had the opportunity to go up against someone like that all year.
Right. It's just a different challenge, like we talked about kind of in the locker room. He's huge, and he can move really well, which is something that you don't see very often in high school basketball, especially in pretty small class Nebraska. So it's a good challenge for us, and like you said, it's kind of translates for me down to the college level. And just kind of seeing that right now will definitely be helpful as I move on.
Before I turn it over to Coach, you guys knocked each other down, you and Marshbank, and I noticed, we've all noticed in the booth, you both reached out and helped each other up. Love that.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And Coach, what do you have here for?
You know, I noticed the one thing, obviously the big man is a concern. And that motion offense, they kept you guys busy on the backside. And I'll notice a couple times that I thought, you know, with Max was 3/4 to full front, I was thinking, uh-oh, this is an easy one. Then I would peek backside, and Kale was back there. How big of a challenge was it for you to try to keep that backside help without giving up that 3?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. That's how they build their offense. And when you got a 7-footer inside who can catch and finish, it's really tough. He takes a lot of attention. But we have put a lot of trust in Max in this tonight and just kind of said, you're going to work, and if he gets, what do you have, 20 probably?
He had 20,
If he gets his 20, it's going to be tough. He had some really tough right-handed hook shots that were just, I mean, you tip your cap, good shot.
Yeah.
So we just kind of had to keep working,
Right.
and just run him off the three-point line whenever we could.
Right.
All right, Kale, I have you, I think, Coach, you have another one here for him?
No, I'm
All right, I don't know if I've got you for 26 or 28. The book, we got the camera on, the book is so full under Kale. I ran out of room, folks. Whatever you had, 26, 28, 30, whatever. It was a huge night offensively. Talk a little bit about how you were able to rack up the points tonight, what you were able to do.
I mean, I think for me it starts with getting to the rim, and sometimes it's creating for my teammates when I get there, and sometimes I can just score it for myself. And tonight there wasn't a ton of help besides Marshbank. They kind of leave it to him. So for me, it's just kind of going at him, and he got me a couple times, like you said, but just constantly going at him and making him make a ton of plays. And I mean, that was my mindset, was going to him.
Coach, anything else?
No, just congrats. It's been fun. Cannot wait for the next one.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Got a little bloody lip, though. What happened there?
I think I just took an elbow under the rim. He's 7 foot. His elbows are higher than mine. So.
I think he may have hit it on the rim on that dunk.
That thunderous dunk, Kale.
Right
that
there.
Was, of all the dunks this year,
that was two-handed.
That was with emphasis. That was an emphatic dunk tonight. That had to feel good, didn't
That was fun. That was fun.
All right, great. Keep going.
Guys.
Great having you up here, Kale Jacobson.
Thank you.
We love him. Great kid. And what a night tonight for Kale and his teammates. Coach, I'll give it to you as a final here. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, just a wonderful game. You know, they have had games this year that they've got quite a lead on where probably, you know, we figured they were going to win. This was not one of them where we weren't real sure how this was going to go until probably the final 2.5 minutes, and they started pressing, and we turned it over a little bit. They hit a couple free throws. One time I looked up and I thought, you know, if they hit a 3, it's down to 9, and that's 3 possessions in 2 minutes, and that's not enough. And we found a way to just open it back up again.
Yeah, it was so much fun to watch. What a great game. What a great atmosphere. I want to give a big shout out to the student body. They were phenomenal, and of course to our team. We have a great team. Big thanks to this man right here. I don't know if you can see this young man, I should say, Elliot Gosson, who ran the board brilliantly for us tonight. Jordan Wallman, who puts this thing all together. For Coach Dave Hewitt, I'm Tim Washburn saying so long. We'll see you soon.